All right, Sonny. It seems like the Illinois roster is complete. They added Andrei Stojakovic. They added a bunch of guys from overseas. We got Brad AI pictures on the internet dressed like I don't even know how to really explain it. But it's been fun. I've enjoyed the ride, and this year was nice that the roster got filled out before the end of June. And I have some videos kind of reacting to Stojakovic news and stuff, but as we sit here right now, I think we can all just assume that this roster is complete now. I don't think Will Riley pulled out of the draft. And obviously, Kasparas, Jakucionis is staying in as well. So that dream is dead. It was fun while it lasted. So how do you feel about this roster going into 2025, 2026? And what are your expectations as of June 5th? Which could certainly change as time goes on, obviously. But as we sit here and we look at this team on paper, what do you feel about this team right now?
The team looks talented. To me, the team looks deep. The ceiling, I'm just not sure because I don't know. I think Andrei Stojakovic is supposed to be the alpha on this year's team. And I think he can because he's been the alpha in college basketball. I just literally recorded Friday's episode right before I got on here, and I kind of referenced that. This year we're not questioning whether a guy can be the alpha. But with Andrei, him coming in, he's going to be entering his junior year. The one thing I'm concerned about with this team is the three-point shooting. And, we brought in a lot of talent, but we know how Brad likes to play offense. But the guys he brought in, even though I like him, I like Stojakovic. I really like this Petravic kid, Cody. I don't know how much film you watched of him, but he's a 22-year-old guard coming from Europe. I think he was, fourth in MVP voting in his league. I think he's being slept on because he committed to the Illini while all the fanfare was about Andrei. Like, he was on his visit and everyone wanted him to commit at the time. So I think he's been kind of overlooked. We brought in a lot of older talent, but are we still going to be shooting a lot of threes? Because if we're shooting a lot of threes, who's making them? Who's shooting them? That's my only concern. I think Purdue's in a class of their own when it comes to the Big Ten Conference. But if things go right, I think Illinois is going to be right there at the end in the Big Ten Conference.
Yeah. Speaking of Petravic, I saw something on Twitter within the last week, and it was some account that ranked the point guards in the Big Ten. And obviously Braden Smith was number one. That's fair. And then there's a bunch of names after that, but I think they put Petravic somewhere between 7 and 8 on this list. I wish I could remember the account. I didn't see it today. I saw it within the last couple of days. And I don't know, how those lists come out, and it sometimes comes off as rage bait. But based off what you just said, the only thing that I can say about this guy, and I have watched some film, is that he's going to come with more experience, and I just hope that this guy doesn't turn the ball over as much as Kasparas, Jakucionis. I think that's the bare minimum of expectation that I feel like a Illini fan should have. I hope that his three-point game is solid, and I hope that he finds a way to make other players better on the court because he's the point guard, right? That's just those are the minimal things, right? And the question that I have about him as well is what are his goals long term? Is he going to be a 2-year guy, or he's a late bloomer? He's 22 years old. Does this guy have dreams to go to the NBA? It's so crazy with NIL and this era of college basketball that a guy like him could just come to Illinois out of nowhere and play. I mean, college basketball is just more semi-pro basketball than ever now, and I don't have a lot of questions. It's more of just concerns and can his game transition to the college game and and be something. And so in many ways I agree with you that they are kind of sleeping on him, but at the same time too, I'm maybe some of these people could be right.
Yeah, it's we'll see, right? It's one thing I do like about Petravic though is he's someone that's going to be willing to take the last shot. We had Kasparas last year, And, Kasparas struggled at the end. Tomislav, it's hard to have your center be the guy to go to when you need, you have one more possession left. Between Petravic and Stojakovic, I do think we have to. In regards to his future, I think we have to wait and see from the NCAA how many years he's got of eligibility, right? They haven't even ruled that. We don't know. Tomislav came in last year as a sophomore. My suspicion would be they'll probably give him 1 year. Maybe if we're lucky, they'll give him 2 years of college ball. But at this point, he's probably just, if we're being real about it, collecting a nice hefty NIL bag, just at least what he can be being paid out there in Europe.
Yeah. It's funny. He's going to be in Champaign in the middle of nowhere, Illinois, and like going to class. I just cracks me up. So yeah, I think point guard or the guard position, I feel pretty good. I mean, obviously Kylan coming back is huge for this team. It's good to have a lot of retention with this team. Not a lot of new guys. I'm excited to see what David Merkovic can be. Maybe this Illini coaching staff and Adam Fletcher can unlock Zvonimir Ivasic as well. And you need Tomislav to whether take a step forward or just continue to be who he is next season. As far as a 3-point game, I kind of agree with you. Like I don't know exactly who's all going to be shooting threes. And, based off what some of these interviews I've listened or clips I've seen, I haven't watched all of the full interviews, but the clips I've seen of Brad Underwood, like I don't feel like they're changing the offense anytime soon. So
I agree.
That's something that probably might be my biggest concern. Is just like who's shooting threes, and like what are you doing to make guys better 3-point shooters? Because I still haven't forgot about Joe Jackson's tweet last year about how guys who've come to Illinois and their 3-point percentage going down. And Kylan Boswell was a great example, right? He's a great 3-point shooter at Arizona, and last year was like 24%. I hope it's better. It has to be better in 25, right? So I think that's a big question, but the thing that brings me back to having some hope is for sure the experience on the roster.
Yeah, what do you think about 3-point shooting? You think Ben Hummerkaus? You think maybe Jake Davis? That's a 3-point shooter. And then, but how many minutes do you really plan on giving those guys, right? So you're kind of hoping for like a regression of the mean type of situation with Kylan Boswell, who shot 40% the year before. Tomislav was arguably one of our best 3-point shooters last year. And, in his position, if he can give us 35+%, I'll be content with that. Maybe you just kind of hope that the genes with Andrei Stojakovic kick in a little bit. And, he's kind of a late bloomer. He shot 32% last year at Cal, but he's going to have a lot better teammates this year who's going to take a lot more attention and give him a lot more wide open shots. So I'm hoping that's where the 3-point shots come in. Zvonimir, like you said, we'll see. He's got the height. To me, it's just the lineup. Does Brad play him with his brother? Because I don't know how that's going to work defensively, but if he does, then I do think Big Z can get a good amount of open shots just because of how good of a passer Tomislav and I think Mikhail are going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm excited in June, and I used to just dream or hope for that or have that excitement. And I guess that's the bare minimum that I always ask for. So I guess we'll see what happens come November. Football season right around the corner, though. I'm sure you're excited. I am excited. I'm happy to see some Illini logos on some of these, like from some of these national brands promoting college football. So excited for the ride here over the next couple months.
I think one of my favorite sayings on the show is it's a great time to be an Illini. And it's one of those where there's younger kids who are stepped onto campus for the first time last year, or maybe are doing it this year. And I hate to be the old guy here, but like I literally just want to enjoy it. Yeah. It is not always like this. The fact that we have potentially 2 teams in the preseason top 15 next year, basketball and football. It's an incredible time. And I'm, as a content creator, especially, I'm eternally grateful.
Yeah, absolutely, man.